mean, a lot of people do that, and we definitely have some big landmarks, some big birthdays for a lot of these records. That 30 years, 25. These are big birthdays. Milestones in these albums. So we never even thought about reusing them, or it's really weird. I forgot about those songs, man. So Eros could, I mean, I don't know. You could. It's
Moshpit Passion, for the passion of music.
First question is, how are you so far? Are you still nervous after all these years to release a new music, a new record? What's going on?
I mean, there's always a bit of nervousness. More excited than anything. We're grateful to have another opportunity to make a record and put it out. Maybe people hopefully like it. That's the whole thing. And new songs to play. So a lot of good things come with that. And we're just down here. We're starting a lot of press and interviews now. And I'm actually in a hotel room. We're down in doing rehearsals. A lot of press in the day, and then rehearsals at night, and then we start another tour, so another leg of the tour. So we're very excited. We really are.
It's definitely good to hear, and you're still busy when it comes to music. Yeah, tape. Great, man.
Pretty funny, yeah. So actually got the first copy to hold yesterday, so it's kind of interesting, kind of cool. So
Are you more into vinyl, CD, or tape?
I like vinyl. I love streaming just because it's the accessibility and the ease of it. But I love to. This is just funny that it's on cassette. It's kind of made a comeback. But I like to be able to hold on to something. Like behind you, vinyl, man. It's something tangible, something especially with the art and the liner notes. And I love to read all the little info and everything. So yeah, this is funny that I took this yesterday from our little stash, and
Nice.
it's got a blue.
Yeah, it's a blue one. Yeah, there are different versions out there. And there's a main, let me say, eye catcher. There's a snake on it. And there's also my first question, because that's how I interpret this. There's a song on the upcoming record. My English is not that good, but I can spell the name. It's ECDYSIS. I don't know how you say it.
Ecdysis.
Yes. It
Yes.
means like changing, transformation, peeling,
Shedding.
and
Shedding the skin. Could be a lot of it. Could be a lot of things, but yeah, that's the definition of. Of course, there's a snake on the cover. It's a. Imagine it ties in together somehow, But no, it's more of the image itself was a very striking image. Much, just the way that it kind of juxtaposes with just the solid background and the green and the instance of the main record, and then just this snake, like the owl on Diamond Eyes, and the flamingos again on Gore. They were really striking images on their own. Didn't have to mean or connect anyway. I think this might maybe have a bit more connection, obviously with Exorcist, but yeah, I mean, it was one of the first images that we saw when we were getting the artwork together, and we're like, that's it. Stop. That's the one. So,
nice.
Yeah.
What I found interesting, you mentioned the different animals, that always, except of Gore, that the color white, when it comes to the animals, is very pregnant, like white pony, the white owl, the white snakes. Is it kind of like a connection, or is it like, hey, it's completely done by accident?
Probably accident, maybe just the way that it, like, again, it was striking. It was a clean image, juxtaposed with whatever was in the background, I don't think there's too much more than that. Yeah. Maybe there is.
It's interesting that you say maybe there is, because when I go on Reddit, there are whole different theories about when it comes to Deftones. It's completely crazy. Is it something which you are also reading on the internet, also on Reddit, like, hey, we give the fans a special, let me say, hint or an Easter egg in our maybe upcoming record? Was there ever some kind of, let me say, Easter egg or hiding thing in your art, in your artworks?
There might be something coming up. Yes, something coming up on the release date of something. But Yeah, it's funny, the Reddit, I generally stay off of that stuff. You know, it's amazing that it's the discourse and people are able to speak and talk and discuss and think, predict what they think. You know, that's the point. I actually looked the other day, and I don't go often, and it was when people first had the actual titles of the real titles, and people were saying they're not real, they're real, but they were actually real. And then someone wrote, "This is what the record is going to be off the title," like, and they haven't even heard anything. I'm like, dude, just it's going to be like this because the song title. And it's like, dude,
chill.
it's pretty funny, but yeah, I stay away, man. You know, it's a lot of it's amazing the amount of energy that's there, and you know, interest. It's awesome. And of course, you know, if you look for it, you'll find it, be it negative or positive, or a lot of noise though too, which it's kind of like a lot, but it's out there. It's pretty cool.
What I really want to know is when it comes to your band and even the last 5 years, do you have an idea why Deftones, especially when it comes to the concerts, you're playing big arenas, even here in Germany in January, February, you're playing the biggest indoor arenas, and it's getting so huge and so big. I remember seeing Deftones 15 years ago it was a sold out venue in front of 700 people here in Germany, in Dortmund. It was a PR gig. However, during the last 15 years, I mean, you are bigger than ever. Do you have an idea how that, yeah, how did this happen?
No, I mean, it you know, it's had its ups and downs, you know, like life, you know. I mean, our careers, we've been around quite some time, and within that time there's been a lot of living, a lot of learning, you know, uh living life, but there's been great highs and really low lows, you know. And there's a new energy around this band that's just, we're like just blown away, man, you know, like, whoa. Yeah, where did it come from? You know, there's a lot of, you know, new people discovering us on the internet, and the fact that you can have, you know, everything here, and you can, we actually, and we have a discography, we have a history, so there's a lot. If you're interested in us, you know, and you look it up, there's a lot to see, you know what I mean, and a lot to take in, which is probably a good thing, you know. There's a lot of history there, you know. I'm sure there's a bit of TikTok, that whole boom too, you know, that thing. But at the same time, we never left and went away. We've, you know, been trying to put out hopefully solid records this whole time, you know. So it's a really exciting energy that's around, man, right now, you know. And it's like it's pretty special, man. It's like it doesn't often happen like that. So we were definitely taken aback by it, and just like kind of trying to soak it up and be good and play well, and you know, and really take it in, man. But it's a nice rebirth. It's a trip.
When you are on stage and look into the crowd, do you see also like people where you maybe like think, dude, that kid right here, it's a teenager. I mean, when Diamond Eyes came out, that was maybe the birth date. And how do they get into music? Was it like the parents showed them the music, or even the kids showed the parents your music? And
Yeah, exactly that. It's so funny that we started, yeah, we did a leg, an American leg. We're actually starting leg two next week of that, Canada and North America. But we did a leg few months back, the first tour so far, and we were just like, man, you know, the youth, but, and we were meeting people and talking, and it's kind of, you know, I'm a dad, and you know, Gino, we were like asking some of these people, they were coming with their kids, and their parents were like, hey man, you know, wow, this is great, you know, who turned you on? And it was, a lot of times it was the parents, yeah, you know, I grew up with my parents listening to this. And a lot of times it was the kids saying, hey man, you know, I'm a teenager, and I going through everything in life, and you know, it's hard sometimes being a teenager, you know, and not getting along with your parents, and the world against you, and you know, teen angst. And I connected with my parents on this, and I showed them, and they came to the show. So like, I mean, Chino and I are like, oh, you know, like, you know, because we're dads, man. So it's really cool, man. But it's been a lot of very young people, and the old parts who have been there since day one too, you know. So it's a beautiful thing, man. Really, really is cool.
And I really would like switch over when it comes to your new record. And I mean, Deftones, you guys are known for your experimental evolution. And was there, or maybe is there still a specific song on Private Music where you as a drummer stepped out of your comfort zone this time?
You know, it's that's a good question. I mean, there's a song like I Think About You All the Time, which is more of a almost a ballad and a very, you know, just sort of in a three kind of, you know, like a three sort of feel, waltz-ish kind of feel. And, you know, we've done things like that before, but it's very sparse in the recording, and there's so much space, you know, in between the notes and the instruments as well. It's almost like a makeout song, like, you know,
Yeah.
you drive to the mountain and you make out, or, you know, it's kind of like one of those like a 50s sort of like a, you know, a love makeout song, and it's pretty cool, man. But you know, in making this record, we just you know, we just sort of never really come with too much, you know. It's all about us getting in the room. There might be a couple of ideas that have, you know, been around for the sound checks or whatever on tour, but it's always just starting fresh. And with us, so much of it is the hang. Like if we're getting along, and there's been a lot of times where it's been not easy at all. It's been so hard to make records, you know, and that's from being around a long time as well, and not getting, you know, just, you know, we're brothers, man. We battle, you know, and we're passionate, but we love each other, man. So you know, this time around it was really, really cool. And we just go in and we see what comes up, man. So there's not a lot of there's not a lot of stuff brought in. It's just it's that moment in time, and it's what we get. So we hope we walk into this room and we hope that something sticks, you know, and we start building a record from that point. You know, it's not like a concept, or it's pretty basic, really. You know, we just write a song and we write it down and it's written, and then when it's jammed, then we'll put it at the top of like a dry, like a erase, you know, whiteboard, dry erase. And then we start building a set, and we'll go in each day, you know, or each week with, oh, we have 3 songs now, and play the set. So it's 3 songs. We'll start, you know, and then discard, and then we start seeing what we might need, you know, and how it's formulating and how it's coming together. Just what bands do. It's not, you know, some people write everything and come in with everything written. We don't, you know, and it's an experiment.
If I get it right, you recorded, or at least when it comes to the songwriting, was in different places like Malibu, Joshua Tree, and Nashville. These places, do you think maybe, or at least how did these locations influence your approach on drumming?
Yeah, I mean, even the fact, like we did the drums in LA a year and a half ago. This record has been made over a long amount of time, but not for, you know, just little chunks. And we would take breaks, and it was very we were really trying to have a nice life work, you know, balance in what we do. So we designed it. Thankfully, we were able to, you know, we didn't need to, like, you know, we had time, and we weren't really being hounded by, you know, the label, record label. You know, we knew we had to make a record, and we were, and they knew we were, and we were able to do it not under a lot of pressure, which is really cool, man. You know, it's so, but we would go to, I love going places. I love traveling, you know, even, but it's pretty neat. Like you say, Nashville, that's where Nick, Russ Linux, who had done a couple other records with us, he's been out in LA forever, but he's actually from back in Tennessee. So, and that's generally would be, you know, Nashville was always more of a country town, you know. So you go there and there's all the country bars, and it's very country music wise. And that's a different approach, you know, just being there is like, well, you know, but it's neat to be able to make a record in different spots. You know, we wrote it in different places. We wrote it in Joshua Tree in the desert, you know, very amazing energy there. We wrote it, a lot of it we wrote in Malibu, on the coast, which is a absolutely, you know, very, very amazing setting. You know, very chill, very beautiful, very ocean, and you know, and we wrote some in Nashville as well. So these different locations, I definitely add to that. As far as drumming, it's just neat. I was inspired. We had breaks and ready to get back to trying to, you know, tackle a bit more of this. So And we wrote more songs at the very end too. That like "Ectasis" is a song that we wrote at the very end. That wasn't part of the original batch of songs. So it comes from everywhere. Pretty cool.
How is it for you after all these years when Chino's doing his lyrics and also editing the song titles? Do you ask him about, dude, where does this name or song come from? What is the meaning? Or is it something like where you say, hey, I want to stay away. I want to interpret the song or the title on my own?
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Like we always have the most ridiculous working titles when we come up, and they're always changing, and it gets so confusing because, like it was this for a few weeks, now it's this, and that won't be the real title once it's all said and done. So it's like, it's pretty funny. It's a big joke. We're like, all right, now we're rehearsing the songs now for real, and no one knows what the fuck they're called. Oh, that's Ectasis, but what was it called then? So it's pretty silly, and it's been that way for every record. But as far as like his vocals come last, we always make sure the music stands on its own first. All of us playing it, and then he's always done his vocals last. There might be a tiny bit of humming along the way, maybe some melodies, but we don't really hear it until it's done. And I was there with him on this, during a lot of the recording of the vocals too. We were all hanging around, and he would get off the couch and go into the room and do something, and we're all there to say, but it's so neat to see that's the icing on top, and to see it realized, to see the whole thing, the song, the concept realized, with his icing on the top. And he did a lot of things this time around that were way out of his wheelhouse, which is, he's very focused right now, and really, really, the voice is strong, and he's doing really well. So it's good. It's awesome.
It's cool to hear, definitely. And also you need this if you prepare for a tour and upcoming shows, and obviously the new record is coming out, and the next tour, even here in Europe, the main focus will be the new record. But when it comes to Deftones, I saw in the past that you, when it comes to the previous records, that you did a couple of reissues, White Pony, the self-titled, but you never did some kind of anniversary touring, like 25 years of White Pony, etc., or other records. Is there a specific reason where you say, we don't do this, we always keep, let me say, new record, we are promoting this, but I don't know, there are different people, different views on that, like celebrating a specific record?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, a lot of people do that, and we definitely have some big landmarks, some big birthdays for a lot of these records. That 30 years, 25. These are big birthdays. Milestones in these albums. So I mean, but we always just try to keep it going, moving, and a lot of times those dates come, and then they're gone. Because we're kind of focused on going forward. And there's been a lot of requests from promoters like, hey, come here, we'll pay you this much to play just White Pony. And we're like, it sounds nice. It's a really nice offer, but we never really went there, we never really went there. Maybe one day. Right now, obviously, this is brand new, and we have a lot of music now. So it's very difficult to make a set list. You're bound to make someone unhappy because they're not playing this, or we're not playing, and it's hard to make a set list these days, man. And we've been actually touching a lot of the earlier stuff from Adrenaline lately, which has been real fun to play, man. 7 Words, Board. I think we'll play Engine again, and like we haven't played those songs in a long, and they're fucking fun to play, man. Especially after a long break. You know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of stuff to play, and we're getting it together. So yeah.
Nice. There's one question left, because unfortunately our time is running out, because next year Saturday Night Wrist will be 20, and I can hear from, or at least also understand from what you said, that, let me say, 20 years anniversary touring for that record might not happen. But maybe, are there any plans of a vinyl special reissue, even with the Bob, from the demos of Bob, which he did from you back there, which are out, or maybe even the Eros record, at least EP in a box set? Is there something in there, plans, or?
Who knows? So that's another great question. I mean, you know, like you said, the Bob Ezrin demos,
Yeah.
those things were like, I had never heard those except way back when we did them.
Wow.
And I realized that they're on YouTube, and I'm like, so I was like, oh shit, you know, like, wow, you know, some of it's actually kind of some of it's kind of cool, you know, and those songs just went away and we never even thought about reusing them, or it's really weird. I forgot about those songs, man. So, Eros could, I mean, I don't know, you know, it's because like I said before, we've talked about it quite a bit, but I mean, you know, that record was never completed. There's a handful of songs that are actually really good on Eros. The record, you know, it never was completed, so I don't know what the rest could have been, you know. But a box set of all that, I mean, that's a good idea. Who knows? Right now, we're just we're all about this,
Yes,
you know.
private music.
But there is a lot of curiosity about obviously that record, Eros, as well. So there's work to be done on that. We'll see. Maybe one day. I mean, I would be great for people to hear those songs for a variety of reasons. Obviously, you know, his last recordings, you know, and I know that people are very curious about that, and you know, and it's also attached to a lot of sadness to that time, you know, and so we kind of just went and moved on, you know, but who's to say?
So, Abe, thank you very much for your time and also for the interview. I wish you all the best for private music. I will listen it again now. It's a great banger, definitely. And yeah, we will see us definitely next year here in Europe on a Deftones concert.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Have a lovely night. Are you having dinner?
Yeah, definitely with my family. My wife is waiting, my
Okay.
kid also. Thank you very much
man,
for time.
say hello to all of them, and yeah, have a great night.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay. See you.
Moshpit Passion, you know, for the passion of music.